Everyone is trying to figure out how to get exposure to SpaceX before it IPOs, and I found one tiny NASDAQ stock that still looks completely undiscovered. The company is called XMAX, ticker symbol XMAX. According to the company's materials, XMAX has disclosed roughly $16.6 million invested in SpaceX, plus another $16.9 million tied to XAI. So altogether, that's about $33 million of cumulative Elon Musk ecosystem exposure. I've been saying for months that as the SpaceX IPO gets closer, we could see a boom in space stocks and public companies with SpaceX exposure. And that's already started to happen. Look at some of the charts across the space trade. Names connected to rockets, satellites, space infrastructure, and even indirect SpaceX exposure have already started catching major moves higher. And now XMAX is worth watching as a speculative SpaceX adjacent name, especially because of its lower per share price compared to others. Now, to be upfront, this was originally a furniture company, but recently XMAX made a strategic pivot into AI infrastructure. And this is where the story starts to get more interesting. They've already signed their first AI client contract, which is expected to generate $4.8 million in revenue over the next 12 months. And on top of that, the company says it has more than $30 million in prospective clients. So this is not just a we might do AI someday story. They're actually trying to turn the pivot into revenue and do it fast. And now institutions are starting to notice this also. According to the company's materials, institutional ownership has risen from under 1% to roughly 10%, with names like Vanguard and Citadel showing up. And on top of that, management and core shareholders have reportedly implemented a 5-year lockup period on their shares. That matters because in small cap names, one of the biggest risks is insiders dumping into momentum. A 5-year lockup signals a much longer term commitment from the company. So when you combine all of this, AI infrastructure revenue coming in, indirect exposure to SpaceX IPO, XAI exposure, institutional ownership rising, in a management lockup period for the long term, XMAX becomes one of those weird asymmetric setups that traders are probably going to start paying attention to. Not because it's risk-free, it's not, but because when a tiny company has a big narrative, real catalyst, and a story most people haven't discovered yet, that's usually when things can get interesting fast. And here's my prediction. The direct asset value may only explain part of the story. The bigger upside case is whether the SpaceX IPO creates enough attention that traders start re-rating XMAX as a speculative SpaceX adjacent AI infrastructure play. Because if SpaceX becomes one of the biggest IPO stories of the year, I think investors are going to start searching for every public market way to get exposure to that story. And XMAX could be one of the names that gets pulled into the conversation. This is not financial advice. Always do your own research before investing.